Hi everyone, this is Tina Brown from Vintage Revitalized, and thanks so much for stopping by for this tutorial. First thing I wanted to do is discuss the items that you're going to really want to make sure you have all set, ready to go before you start your project. Two items that are not in this picture that you're going to want to make sure you have available are gloves, as well as some type of covering for your floor. For this project, I used cardboard. So you're going to want to have your Envirotex light pour on high gloss finish. In the picture here, I have a 32-ounce size, and that is recommended for an 8 square foot space. So there was plenty for this small desk. You're also going to want to have the perfect color glitter. I do suggest trying to get that in extra fine because it just makes it easier to mix. You're also going to want to have disposable mixing cups, stir sticks, a disposable bowl, torch if you have it. If not, you can also use a heat gun or blow dryer. And you're also going to want to have some type of a spreading tool. This does not need to be anything fancy. So let's talk a little bit more about the high gloss finish. The reason why I love this product so much is because it's waterproof, heat and alcohol resistant, and it's impermeable. So this is an awesome product to use for tabletops, desks. You can use it for canvas art, basically any project that you really want to protect. One coat of this stuff is equal to 50 to 60 coats of regular varnish. So let's get right to it. First steps you're going to do is you're going to mix equal amounts of the resin with the resin hardener. So the reason why I like these red cups is because I use the lines on the cup to make sure that I'm measuring equal amounts. For this project, I mixed about 10 ounces from each bottle to come up with a total of 20 ounces, and that was plenty to cover this desk. Yes, that sure is Bumblebee Transformer making his appearance. So next what you're going to do is you're going to mix your 2 cups into the bowl. From here, you're going to use your stir sticks to make sure to get out as much of each cup as you can. These components are very important, and you want to make sure that you have just as much resin as you do of the hardener. Once you have the 2 components in the bowl, you want to make sure that you stir them for 2 minutes. As you can see, my disposable bowl could have even been a little bit larger just to make sure that none of the resin went over the sides of the bowl. Something really important to remember is that before you pour, you do want to make sure that your piece of furniture is properly protected. So for this desk, I did cover the body of it with packing paper to make sure that any of the drips did not fall onto the piece of furniture. After mixing for at least 1 minute is when I'm going to start adding in my glitter. Continue to mix the glitter into the resin. And there's really no rhyme or reason as to how much glitter you can add. You just want to make sure that your resin doesn't start to get chunky. What I look for when I'm mixing in my glitter is I'm pulling my stir stick up to see if I can still see through the resin. What I like to have when I do an epoxy pour over paint is if you want to be able to see the paint through, then great. You really don't need too much glitter. But what I want is I want to be able to see just the glitter. That's when you get a lot of that real sparkle and shine. And the nice thing also is that the top of your piece that you're covering doesn't have to be perfectly painted. You know, one coat, two at the most, and you're good to go with a good coat of this epoxy because that glitter is really going to cover up anything underneath it. Bumblebee, you're kind of in our way, dude. Keep in mind, you guys, it's probably best not to have your kids around when you're trying to do this. Thanks to the quarantine, though, that wasn't really an option. If I wanted to get this done, it just needed to happen. I mean, really, besides my sister Erica, who ever said too much glitter was ever too much? And now it's time to get down to business. Don't do it, Bumblebee. Thank God for big sisters. It looks like the galaxy. It's so beautiful when you pour it out. Now you're ready to start spreading. So keep in mind that this product is also fabulous because it self-levels. So one thing to keep in mind is that before you start your project, you want to make sure that you are in a flat leveled surface. That's going to play a big part in how your final outcome is. Another really important thing to keep in mind is, oh my gosh, what if you didn't mix enough? To be honest with you, the first time I ever did this, I didn't mix enough. I had a really, really thin coat and it just didn't look right. So keep in mind, you can actually do multiple coats of this. So if the first go around you don't have enough, just try to spread it out as nice and evenly as you can. And on your second coat, you can go back and level it out and add plenty more. So this is why it's so important to make sure that your floor is really well protected and covered. For this project, I did allow the epoxy to run right off over the edge of the desk. I wanted the entire top to be sealed. Now, keep in mind that you can tape off a project. You want to use some type of like a non-sticky tape, like a painter's tape. And once the epoxy is completely dry, the tape will actually come off nice and clean and give you a good clean edge. Another reason why it would have been a good idea to tape off the project is because whenever you let the epoxy just run off the sides, you're actually losing some of that product. So had I taped off underneath the edge of the desk, I would have been able to probably create a little bit of a thicker coat along the edge of the desk. So the top of the desk has a thicker coat than the edge, the sides of the edge of the top. Once the top is completely covered, you want to go back and make sure that all of the edges are covered as well. Once the epoxy has been spread out all over to touch every area of the surface, then you can go back and make nice even strokes across the piece. So again, keep in mind that this product does self-level. So even though you're gonna see some lines if you're using a spreading tool that has teeth, you're gonna see those little lines from the teeth. But once it starts to dry and self-level, those lines are gonna go away. So here you can see again that I'm just going through making sure the edge is covered and that everything is nice and even. You'll also see here that I did protect my piece by covering the entire outside of it with paper. So there you have it, you guys. This is going to dry in 8 hours and it's going to fully harden in about 48 to 72. Don't dress fancy, it's going to get messy, but the product is going to be so beautiful. So that's it, you guys. I hope that you got something from this, and I wanted to show the whole process to make sure you could see how simple it was as long as you had all the essential items needed. So now it's time for you to go out there and try it out. Have some fun.